Hey guys, welcome to this GitHub and Git course. Now, in case you are totally beginner, okay, and wanted to learn what is the Git and what is GitHub, so these concepts I will going to teach you, okay, inside this free course. Now, my dear friends, do not worry in case if you are totally beginner. I will share with you each and everything, and we will going to do each and everything from scratch. So even if you're non-beginner, okay, and you don't have any tech knowledge, you can still follow this free course. And at the end of the lecture, you will going to learn lot many things like what is Git, GitHub, what is difference between both of them, and we will going to also do things practically as well. Okay, practically as well. I will share with you all commands, okay, with the free notes which I will going to share with you, so you don't have to worry about anything. You can always come and prefer this command. And we will going to cover lot many concepts like from Git, okay, what is Git, how it works, what is local repository, remote repository, branching and merging, how to configure Git, each and everything we will going to cover step by step. Okay, so even if you're non-beginner, okay, or let's say you're the person who is not from any tech background, so it will really going to help you out. So make sure you watch the complete free course from starting to end. Hey guys, so before we proceed further with any advanced topic, let's start with the very simple meaning what is Git. Okay, so if I talk about the meaning of Git, so Git is basically a tool. Okay, so Git is a tool that store changes of your project. That is what Git is. Now if you read the meaning of Git, so Git is a tool keeps store of every change to your project. Now you all know that we can create different projects. Now projects could be of any particular thing, okay, any project, okay, but let's say as a developer, let's say we create some project, let's say project 1, so we want it to store somewhere. Okay, so like you all know, we have the tools like let's say Google Drive. Okay, so if you might know about the Google Drive, so it's a online storage, okay, cloud storage, where you can store anything you want. Okay, so that you can access it anytime you want. So guys, similarly for developers, okay, we can store our projects, okay, inside storage, okay, inside a storage, and this storage is generally known as repository. So repository is like a storage, okay, where developers can you know store all their projects. So let's say this is a project 1. Okay, so I created a newly project 1. Okay, so I wanted to store this project to the repository. Okay, so my project becomes safe. So when we talk about repository, so it's like a online storage, cloud storage, like Google Drive, it's a cloud storage. Similarly, repository is like a online cloud storage where developers can store their project. So here you can see this is my project 1, and I store this to repository. So now my project 1 is available in my storage, or you can say repository. Now here we use one word known as push. So when we especially talk about Git, or if you're working with the Git, so whenever we use word push, so push means store to repository. Okay, push meaning is store to repository. So in general we say, hey, push this project to repository. So that means you basically meaning is that you want to store this project to repository, and that is where we use word push. Okay, so it's nothing, just a cool language, okay, when we generally use that okay, in the Git. Okay, so developer generally use this word push. Okay, so it simply means is that we want to store, or we want to push, or I can say store our project to the repository. So we say, hey, push project 1 to repository. That means it it simply means is that, okay, store your project one to repository. So that is where the push basically means. Okay, so that's how it is. So here in the meaning we have said store. Okay, so that store means repository. So Git is basically a tool that keeps store. Okay, that keeps store of whatever change you make to your project. Now you will basically understand the meaning very soon, but hope you guys have got the understanding that what is Git. So Git basically allow you to store your project to a repository. Okay, now let's talk with more detail. So sometimes what happen, guys, we try to update our project one. Okay, let's say, like you all know that every time we want to add maybe more new features, or maybe we want to solve some bugs. So we generally, what we do is that we update our project. Okay, so this is a project one. So let's say I want to do some update in the project one. So generally what happen is that this project one becomes like your version one. Okay, this is the original project, and let's say you have made the changes in this project, so you basically automatically it will become the version 2, okay, of the version 1. So what I mean to say is that version 1 will be the always the base project, and in future whatever edit you do, okay, so it will become version 2. And let's say after version 2 maybe you make more changes, so it will become version 3, version 4, and so on. So Git basically allow you to store, okay, all the updated project as well. So suppose this v1 is our base project, and I push, that means I stored that to the repository. So let's say in future I update in this same project one. Okay, so this project one has become version 2. This is the updated, or the, let's say, latest one. So I can again want to store this to the repository, so I can do that very easily with the Git. Okay, I can also store the updated version of the projects, right? So this is where the Git is something very useful. You will see each and everything practically, but always remember that when we talk about Git, so here all the history will be stored. So let's say we have this project. Okay, let's say this is the project. Okay, now guys, when we, let's say, try to see our Git, or maybe the repository where all our let's say I have this storage where I have stored my project one. So here I can see all the version. Okay, so I can see all my version, let's say version 1, which is the very base. Then maybe I updated it, so it become version 2. Then in the version 2 project one file I again updated something, so it become version 3. So basically in Git I can see all the updates or different versions all together, and even I can access all of them. Okay, so basically Git will going to store every change, okay, to your project. So whatever change you will going to do in your project, so all those changes will be visible, okay, inside the storage, or I can say repository in the Git. So this is where the Git is something very helpful. So if I repeat the meaning again, so Git is a tool that keeps store. Okay, so Git is nothing, it's a tool that basically allow you to store whatever changes, that means whatever changes you have done, let's say in the file, okay, to your uh, project. Okay, so basically whatever changes you have done to your project, so all those changes will be stored inside the repository, and you can easily see them and access them. And that is what Git is all about. Now we will going to cover about local repository and what is remote repository. So as you all know that repository means nothing, a sort of a storage, right? So let's say when we talk about the local repository, so it's basically your system storage, whatever you are using, let's say your Mac, or maybe your PC, your laptop. So all your computers have some sort of a storage. So what we generally do is that we create the projects, let's say on our computer. Okay, So our project basically gets stored automatically by default to the local repository, that is your system storage. That means on your computer or maybe laptop or Mac, whatever you are using, right? So that is the local repository. But when we talk about remote repository, so it's like a cloud storage. So like you all know that Google has their Google Drive, okay? And when you talk about, let's say, Microsoft, okay? So Microsoft is one company and they have their own cloud storage, let's say OneDrive. So this is their cloud storage. Similarly, let's say when we talk about Google, so Google has their own storage which is known as Drive, Google Drive, which is a cloud storage. Similarly, you might have heard about Apple, right? So Apple also have their own cloud storage known as, I guess it's known as, let's say, cloud, Apple Cloud, iCloud, sorry, iCloud, right? So similarly, okay, similarly, we have one company known as GitHub, right? So if you search for GitHub, so it's basically a sort of a company that also allow you to store your project. So GitHub is also like a cloud storage company that allow as a developer for you, if you have any project, so you can push that project to the repository, that means to the cloud storage by GitHub. So GitHub is basically company basically that helps to store your project. So like repository, okay? So GitHub provides you with the repository, or I can say storage, where you can push your project. Push your project means you basically store, store your project to repository. The process is known as push, right? So in nutshell, local repository is basically your system storage where currently your projects will going to store by default, okay, when you will going to work. And when you want to store that same project to any cloud storage, so you can use GitHub to store that same project to GitHub, okay? Or you can say their cloud storage, which is known as repository. Now it has plenty of other benefits. So you might be thinking that, okay, if I have the project, so I can also store it, let's say, on Google Drive maybe, okay? But GitHub has more benefits. We will going to cover that, okay, throughout the course. But I'm going very step by step without making things complicated for you. But hope you guys have got a very clear cut idea what local repository is and what remote repository is. Now many people get confused what is Git and GitHub both are together. No. So GitHub is basically a tool that helps you to store all your changes to your project. Okay. Now where to store? So that storage facility is something provided by companies like GitHub. So GitHub provides you that functionality to store your project as a repository. And GitHub is basically the process which allow you to, track all the changes you do to your project and store that in some place. But that storage facility is provided by GitHub, which is a company. Now let's talk about why GitHub. So as we have mentioned, GitHub is a company, okay, that allow you to store your project to the repository. Now when we talk about why GitHub, so mainly there are 4 points. First is you can access it anywhere. So think it like a file, okay? You have put that file, let's say, inside your Google Cloud, okay? And you have uploaded one thing, okay, one of your file to here. Let's say I have this particular digital marketing, let's say, starter guide. I upload this file to the cloud storage. Now I can do one thing is that I can always use it anywhere I want. So suppose for some reason I went to some other country and let's say I don't have my mobile access, I can simply log into my account in Google Drive and I can easily access that. So the very first benefit is that you can access it anywhere you want. All you need to do is that you need to create the GitHub account, you have to store that in the repository, and from wherever you want to access it, just log into your GitHub account and you can access all this repository where your projects are stored anywhere around the world. The second benefit is that backup and security. So sometimes what happens is that this cloud storage help us as a backup. So here you can just upload your file, so it's stored inside the cloud. Okay, so this is something sort of a backup. Okay, then another thing is that share and collaborate. Like you all know that if you have any cloud storage service, so we can easily share that, you can say share that to any people. So same procedure you will going to see with the GitHub. We will going to show you how you can share and collaborate. But the thing is that wherever you have store your project in whatever repository, so that repository you can share with others and even you can collaborate with them. Okay, so that benefit you get in the GitHub directly. And another one is the history and tracking. Now, as we have mentioned, let's say the very first project you will going to create will be the base project, which is V1. Okay, version 1, which is a very base project, the project you created at very start. And let's say if you update or make some addition, subtraction, or if you have made any sort of a changes, so that will become V2. And if you do more changes to that same file, it will become version 3. If you then make more changes, it will become version 4. If you make more changes to that same file, it will become version 5. Okay, so basically what will going to happen is that GitHub will going to track the history and tracking of your project file. So whatever changes you will going to do, so all those changes will be tracked and it will store properly. And the another benefit is that you can also revert it. That means, for example, you have, let's say, version 3 of that project file. So let's say for some reason you thought, okay, I should go back to the version 1. So you can do that very easily in just one click. You can directly go to your base version, and let's say from version 3 you want to go to, let's say, version 2. You can do that. And let's say similarly you thought that, okay, from version 2, let's say I want to move to directly to, let's say, version 4. You can do that. So basically GitHub allow you to track the history, but you can also switch between the various versions in one click. So for some reason you thought that I want to go to, let's say, version 2, you can do that. And let's say for some reason you created the version 4 and here you thought that, okay, the version 2 was better, so you can just switch to version 2 of that same project file. So these are some benefits you get while you use the GitHub. We will going to show all of them practically to you, but that's the importance of why to use GitHub. Now guys, let's see how we can install the Git. Okay, so what you can do is that you can just go here to any browser you have. Okay, um, and just search for Git. Go to this link. Okay, Git one, and from here you can see the download option. And from here you can see when I'm recording the lecture, so this is what the Git version is. In your case it could be little bit more updated one. Whatever the case it is, you have to download it for your operating system. And you can see right now I have both Mac and Windows, right? So when I talk about the same Mac, so just search for the same thing, Git. Just go over here to Git, again click on the download, and it will automatically show you the option to download for Mac. So whatever operating system you go, just click on the download and it will start to download it. And here you can see that we have here, click here to download, right? So I will simply tap on it. Okay, and let's wait for it to get installed. Okay, now guys, after we just do this, you can just open this particular file. Same process you have with the Mac. Yes, and after you do this, just scroll down to read the terms and conditions. Next, next. Okay, and here you see all these options. Click on next, and you can just put it next. Okay, just go back. Okay, just click on next, next, and next, and also you can click on next and click on next. Okay, next, next. By default you have to go with the next options that works the best. Okay, so as a beginner I believe without changing anything, so let's just go with the basic setup with the default settings we have. Okay, and after you have done this you can click on finish button, right? And after this, let's say if you're on the Mac, okay, so you can just search for terminal after the installation. But if you are on the Windows, you can just search here cmd, that is the command prompt, and just type here git dash dash version, click on enter, and then it will tell you the git version you have installed right now. So currently you will going to see the 2.50.1. This is the version I installed, and this is exactly what I can see here. That means our GitHub is successfully installed in our system, right? By the way, there are various way you can use Git, okay, through the command lines, okay, or there are other methods as well, like uh, plenty of things. Okay, you can go ahead with that, but this is how you can simply set up that. Okay, and same you have to do in the terminal of the Mac. And guys, after you have done this, you can also install the Visual Studio Code. You can just cross it, and you can just go ahead to your browser, just go ahead here, click on or search for Python. Let's say in case you don't want to install Python, so just I'm installing it for the Git. So if we just proceed with some sort of example, so we can go with that. Okay, so I will just going to download it quickly, and let's wait. Same procedure on the Mac computers. Okay, just search for Python in case you want to. Okay, same will be the procedure, okay, for it to work, right? So you can see Python is installed. Let's open this up, and make sure that especially for the window users, you can just tick mark on this particular option and then click on install now. Let's wait. And I suppose it's almost done, right? And you can see setup was successful. Now guys, what we can do is that we can also go ahead with VS Code, Visual Studio Code, and this is something very powerful, and it has good integrations with, you can see, GitHub. So let me just install it. Same procedure you have to go with the Mac as well, in case if you want to just go ahead and go to VS Code download, and same you can just click on here the download. Okay, and you can see automatically it will start to download for you. And for some reason, let's say in case if you are interested to learn more about, let's say, Python and all, so you can just search for Kuku courses and just go to this website kukucourses.com, And after this you can just simply go to blocks, click on the blocks, and just search for learn to code Python and click on search button. You will see this article, learn to code Python for beginners, in case if you don't know how to operate Python. So this is the something free guide we have provided you, where we have created the Python guide, okay, for you in the part 1, part 2, and each part has video. For example, if you go with the part 2, so part 2 is related to operators. If you click on it, you will see the related video to it. That's something pretty interesting, right? So make sure that you prefer this article. By the way, I can see that Visual Studio Code is done. Now I can simply go ahead. Let me just open it. I accept the agreement. Scroll it down, click on next, 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 okay, next, and install it. Now automatically Visual Studio Code will take the Git configurations too. Okay, let's wait. It's almost done. Finish, and you can see this is how your Visual Studio Code looks like. Now at here you can see that here we have source control, and this is where you can see your Git repository. So from here also you can directly open the Git repository folder. So this is the reason I have make you guys download it Visual Studio Code, in case you already have, so no problem. But by default Visual Studio Code directly supports the Git functionality. And for the betterment, you can see there are plenty of extensions. Like if you see here, by the way, you can see recommended Git lens, and this is what I wanted to install. So just search for Git, and you will see the Git lens is something very popular. You can see over here this one, right? But in case if we want to, we will surely going to install it. But understand one simple thing, okay, which I also want to teach you guys. Wait, let me just go to my tools. Let me just search for notepad. Okay, let's just go with the notepad. And the thing is that when we talk about how to use Git, you can use it in two ways. One is through the command line. Command line means you can use your terminal, okay, like for the Mac, for the Windows you have this command line, for the Mac you have this terminal software, you have Git installed, so you can just go with the terminal for the Mac, and for the Windows you have this command prompt, right? So here we just write some command, and on that basis we run the Git. And the second way is the easiest way is through the GUI, that is the with some user interface, which makes very interesting for us to use Git, right? So these are the two ways, but we will going to use both of them. Sometimes command line is something good, okay, and sometimes user interface is good, but the problem is that majority of them, let's say, will going to have some limitations. Like let's say some particular user interface will not going to work in, let's say, Linux. It will work in Windows and Mac. So these are some small limitations you can have, but the command line will going to work for all the users, whether you are using, let's say, Windows, Mac operating system, or maybe the Linux. So that's how something Git works, okay. And it's something very interesting and cool too, right? Now guys, we will going to set up the GitHub, okay. So it's very simple, just search for GitHub, go to this first link here, and you will see the option like this, okay. What you all need to do is to, in case you already have the account, you can just sign in. But let's say in case you don't have the account, you can simply click on create an account. You can put your email address. So for example, let's say I put my email address. Okay, so whatever email address you have, you can put that. Okay, and then you can just set, say anything. Okay, whatever username you want to set. Select your country, click on create the account, and then it will ask you to verify the account. Okay, so in this email you will going to receive a code. So I will just going to log into my portal, where okay, and here you can say GitHub launch code. I will simply going to copy this code. I will go here, I will paste it, and that's how it goes. Now you can see your account is created. Simply click on this sign in button, and boom, here you go. So that's how easy it is to create your GitHub account. Now you don't have to worry about all the things you guys see over here. Just simply go to the account here. You can simply go to your profile, and here you can just set the things up. By the way, here you can see whatever you will going to do the activity. Okay, let's say you were going to create a new repository and all. So it will show in green color that you have added this particular contribution. Now GitHub is also very much important. Let's say if you want to apply for some developer job. So generally what happens is that when we have this GitHub, okay, so basically here we store the projects, as you all know, and this project can be seen by many big companies, and if they feel that you guys are let's say your profile is good and you have a good projects, okay, so they can even offer you some job as well. So this is where something it happens. So generally people, what they do, they add their GitHub profile link, okay, to their LinkedIn profile. Okay, so let's not go there, but that's how your GitHub looks like. Okay, let's see how we can create repository. So always click on the GitHub homepage, and you will see this create repository button over here, or sometimes you can also find this over here as well. Okay, so you can see here this option, just drag it down, and here you will see the option to create new repository. So you all know now repository is like something storage, okay, where you can just put your project and file. So once you do that, you can just name it whatever repository name you want to. For example, let's say I can say Kuku courses, let's say first project, like this. You can name it whatever you want, and after this you can just put the description. This is, let's say, my first repository, like this. Now here you will see two options. One is the public, another one is the private. So public means anyone on the internet can see this repository, okay, and private means you choose who can see commit to this repository. That means like Instagram, you have your profile public, right? So that is something where people can see all your photos, videos, whatever it is. So that's the public. But when you keep your Instagram profile private, so no one can see that photos and videos of yours. So that's the same concept we have over here. Then we have initialized this repository with add me a readme file. Okay, so you can edit, it's totally not compulsory. If you want to, you can, but what it is, it basically gives you long description of what your project is, who has created this project, how you can use this project. So this is where you can write a long description of your project. That's it, the readme file. Okay, and nothing to confuse over here. And after this, just click on create repository here. Okay, and once you do that, you will be able to see that you are be able to create your own repository. Okay, so let's wait. Let me refresh it sometimes. Okay, so it's done, and here you can see that here readme repository, one file which we have created is over here. Now you might be thinking that okay, from our computer we have to push the file to our storage, so how we can do that? So we will going to discuss about that as well, but currently I'm just teaching you how the things work in the GitHub. Okay, how you can create GitHub repository from GitHub only, okay? But don't worry, at the end of the course you will basically understand each and everything. And do not ever worry if you ever uh, face problem in the location. So just click on this profile button, and here you can see the repository you created. Also you can go to your profile, click on your repository, and here you can see all the repositories you have created. So that's how it works. And in case if you want to just tap on it, you can go to this repository. Now that's how you guys can create the repository very easy. And all you know that when we talk about GitHub, so it basically track. You all know that we can do the tracking, okay? So it has told you that 1 minute ago, okay, 1 minute ago we have created a file, readme file, okay? So that changes has been taken over here. So whatever changes you will going to do, all those changes will going to show over here, okay? So that's something you will going to understand after some time, but that's how you can create repository very easily. Now guys, we have here the options, okay, various options which we can do in the GitHub. Now we will going to cover about the concept of commit. Now let's say if I just go to my site, and let me just take up the notepad. So when we talk about commit, so what is commit? So commit means when the change has been made, okay? That is what it is known as commit. Now you all know that when we talk about marriage, so first we have engagement, okay, and after engagement we do marriage, right? So engagement is basically, you can say, when you add something, okay, in the concept of GitHub. And marriage is actually where you guys have confirmed that you got married, okay, in front of public. So that is what it is known as commit, okay? Commit, like commitment we do in the relationships and all, right? So this is what we have the concept of commit in the GitHub, okay? So let's say here we have created this file, right? So now let's say if I go and let's say click on edit file here in this pencil button, and let's say let me just refresh it. Okay, now let's say I add here author. Let's say I will write Kunal Lunhavi like this. Now in the GitHub you will see this commit changes. So commit changes will going to make that action complete, okay? Make that action or the change has been made. That is the confirmation you do. So if you click on this commit change, so it will ask you what you are updating. So let's say you can just name it whatever you want. So basically here we write about why we have made the changes, and this is what you will see in the meaning we have told. GitHub means whenever a change we make, okay, so GitHub will going to store all these things, okay, inside the repository. So let's say here I say, let's say update readme file with author, okay? So you and in the description you can write I added, let's say, author name in the readme file like this, and click on commit changes, and you will going to see that update will going to take place. And if you just go to again your profile, your repository, I don't know why it's not loading, but here you can see that this is the repository. If you open this repository again, you can see that the author has been added here, and the track, you can see GitHub is able to track what our changes are. So you can see right now we have update or make the changes in the file, so that change you can see here with the author, okay? Just currently we have done it right now, and you can see here total we have 2 commits. That means 2 updates that has been made in this file. If you click on this, so you can see all the history, okay, of whatever changes you have done, okay? You can see these changes has been done 53 minutes ago, where we have created the repository. and these changes has been made 1 minute ago. So that's how something it works. If you even click on code, so this is how you can see, and that is what commit is. So whenever you make any changes, you commit it. That means you confirm that the changes has been made, and you make it clear that, or I can say you just give the confirm that yes, I have made the change and the changes has been made. That is where the concept of commit actually comes in. Okay, now guys, we will going to teach you about configure git. Now why we need to configure the git, which is very much important. See, for any particular project, the thing is that multiple people can work on single project. For example, this person, both of them can work on same project. So we don't know that, okay, like let's say this person has made some changes, so we will not be able to know that who has made the changes. So that's why when we configure git, so we have to first set the name of this person and also the email, so that we can know that okay, this person has changed the thing in the project. Similarly, this lady has changed something in the project. So when we have the name and email configure, so that is the in that way we can easily be identify that who are making the changes in the project. Okay, so multiple people work on single project, so to identify who made the changes, we configure the git. Now for the Mac users, it's very simple. Just search for terminal and you can proceed with this. And for the Window user, we have something. If you search here, bash. Okay, so you can also use the cmd, that is the command prompt, but when you install the git, automatically this git bash will going to install, and this is something how it will going to look like, right? So what you need to do is that you need to give the instructions. Okay, so for example, let's say I can just open one article. So I have created a notes for you which you guys can do. So just search for Kuku courses, go to kukucourses.com, go to extras, click on blogs here, and just search for GitHub. Click on enter and you will see this Git tutorial plus GitHub tutorial 2-in-1 guide. Just open this. Okay, and after this, here we have provided you this command, okay, which is this one. So just similarly just copy it, git configure minus minus global user.name. Okay, so this is the command you have to use for both of them. Just replace it with whatever name you want to. So for example, let's say I put Kunal Lunhare like this. Okay, I will simply going to copy this. I will go here and I will paste it here. Okay, over here, sorry. And you can use, let's say, control shift and V to paste it. Okay, so just paste it. Okay, over here. Okay, wait so here, wait, let me just open it again. Or you can basically do one thing, is that you can just write manually. Okay, for example, the same command, okay, which we have provided you, right, which is git config dash dash, right? So you can just, or right click here on the command and you can just paste it, okay, like this. And after this, after you have done this, okay, you can click on enter button. And the second changes which you want to, let's say, do, you can even do that. Let's say if I copy this command, just go here, right click, click on paste. But here just make sure that here you just put your email address. So in my case, kunal@kukucourses.com, I have my email address. Okay, so that email address must be with the same you have created with the GitHub account. Okay, that is something important. And after this, click on enter button. And if you want to see what changes you have done, so you can just write git, okay, config, okay, then dash dash list. So it will just going to give you all the changes which you have made. Like name, you have put Kunal Lunare, and the email address you have set. Okay, So that's how you can configure the Git. Now guys, what we will going to do, let's cross it. Now you all know about local repository and remote repository. Now you all know in the remote repository, that is the GitHub. Okay, so if you see here in the GitHub website, we have created a repository, right? Now let's say for some reason I want this repository, okay, that means this particular project to go to my local computer, okay, to my local repository, that means in my system. So how can I pull that? Okay, that means how can I bring the repository which I have created in the GitHub to my local system? So the method is very easy. Now what you can do is that you can just go ahead and create a, let's say, new folder. Let's name it whatever, let's say Git guide, okay, like this, Git guide. Okay, now I will just go and open, let's say, Visual Studio Code here. Now let's make it to the full screen, and you will see something like this. In case you don't see it, just cross it and just go to the top file, or even you can click on this option and click on open folder, and this time go to desktop, and this was the folder. I will click on select folder, and right now you can see we are inside the Git guide. Yes, trust the author, like this. So this is the folder we have. Now let's say inside this folder I want to bring this particular, file, okay, the repository file. So how I can do that? So guys, I can use one feature of clone. Okay, so if you will go at the top here, you will going to see we have the option to clone. So you just need to write the git clone and whatever the URL will be. Okay, so what you can simply do is that just go to your, let's say, Visual Studio Code and just open the terminal from here like this. Okay, right now you can see you're inside the Git guide. Okay, that's something great. Now what you need to do is that you need to write this command git clone. So this will always going to help you to get the copy from your GitHub website to your particular project. So I will just going to write git clone, and now you have to paste the URL. Okay, so to paste the URL of the clone, what you can do for whatever, let's say you want to go with any repository. Okay, so let's say you have this repository here. Okay, you can just open this. Okay, now in the code you can see here, just copy it, and you will see this HTTP. Just copy the link. Okay, you can go with the various method, but HTTPS is something very great, and this is the way majority of the time we use it. And paste the URL like this, click on enter, and now you will going to see it will going to clone each and everything. And now you can see a folder has been generated, and if you open this one, and here you can see the same data we have. This is my first repository, author Kunal Lunhare, right? So what it has done is that from the Git website, okay, from the Git repository, it has copy each and everything, and it has bring to your local system, okay, to your, let's say, local repository. So whenever you want to bring anything from your, let's say, remote repository, that is the GitHub, okay, to your local system, you can always use this particular command git clone and just copy the repository URL and paste it, and you will be able to clone it, right? Now after you have done this, now what you can do is that, let's say here we have this Kuku courses, you know is the name of this particular folder, right? So now let's say I want to go inside this particular folder. So right now you can see we are inside the Git guide. Okay, that is we are inside this folder, but let's say I want to go, let's say, inside this particular folder. So how I can go inside it? So guys, we have one command which is known as cd, that is the change directory. Same it will work for the Windows and the Mac user. So just write here cd, okay, that is the change directory, and just write the name of this particular folder. So it's, let's say, Kuku courses, then it has 1 2 3 dash, then first. So whatever the name of the folder is, I just write that exactly, click on enter button, and you can see that now you are inside this particular folder, right? So that's how you can do that. Okay, so this is how you can clone it. And another thing is that let's say you want to know about let's say uh, uh, what are the files that are available. And by the way, when you will going to clone it, okay, so right now we only have this readme file, but when you will going to have even multiple files, let's say 100 files, whatever inside this repository, all will be cloned. Okay, so just for the teaching purpose I have only one file, and which you can see over here. That's very simple and easy, right? And let's say if you want to know about what are the files available in this particular folder, so write ls, that is the list, and it will show you that you have the readme file here as well. By the way, some files are invisible, so you can also get those files. Okay, so for that what you can do is that you can just type this ls minus a for the Mac and ls minus h for the Windows. Okay, so you can just write ls minus h. Okay, it will show you all the invisible file, but that's something you can do, but not that much important. But to clear the terminal, write clear. Okay, over here and click on enter. So that's how you can clone any file. Now we will going to cover about git status. Okay, so now let's talk about git status. So you just have to write this. Okay, let's say git status, click on enter, and you will see nothing to commit. Okay, now basically you can see here nothing to commit means that everything is same. Like for example, let's say here we have this particular thing, and the same thing has been written in the GitHub. But let's say if I try to make some change, okay, for example, let's say I put, let's say Kunal Lunhari, okay, by Kuku. Okay, I have written this particular thing. Okay, now after this, click on save button, just press command and s to save it. But after you save it, you will see you have this m means modified. That means you have currently changed the file. But if you just go to your you know GitHub, so still you will see everything will be exactly same. Nothing has changed here in the GitHub. But in the local repository, I have make some change. Now again, if you put git status, so you can see it is saying that readme file has been modified. That means we have made changes in the readme file. And also if you see my notepad, so here you can see that modified will only going to show, like here it's saying modified. Okay, it will only going to say that when you will going to make some change in file. So you can say this readme.file is one file, I made some change here, so because of that it is saying in the status modified. But let's say if you add, let's say one new file. Okay, so if you add one new file, okay, so let's say if I go to this folder and I create, let's say new file, let's say main.py Python file. Okay, and let's say here I write, let's say name equals to Kunal. Okay, age equals to 24. So this is what I have written. Now if you again just write here, first save it, control and s to save it, and just write here git sorry, wait, let's close it up, let's create a new terminal, and let's say if I cross it up, let's say if I write here git. Okay, but before that, make sure that you currently we are in the folder, but you have to make and go to this particular file folder again. So you will just do cd, that is change directory, Kuku courses dash 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 first. Then I will go over here, okay, inside this folder. Now I just write here git status. Now here you will see few things. Okay, so here you can see the very first thing is the modified. Okay, so we have modified this one, And here if you will see here, if you just save it, Control and S to save this main file. Okay, and let's say if you write git status again, so now here you will going to see that we have basically changed something, but it has not yet committed. And it's also showing that there is one untracked files. Okay, so untracked file will only going to show when you will going to create a new file. So you can say right now I have created the new file main.py, so GitHub will not going to, that means your Git will not be able to track it. Okay, so it will show untracked files. Okay, because you have created a new file. So whenever you create new file, so Git will never going to track it. Okay, and the second thing is that modified, so modified will only going to show when you will going to make the changes. So always remember that whenever you create a new file, okay, so it will going to show you the status untrack, but let's say whenever you will change anything to the file, it will show you modified. Okay, and that is what we have here with the git status, right? So this is all I wanted to show you. And let's say when your file will be ready to commit, okay, so it will show staged, and unmodified will going to show when after you will going to commit it. So you all know that we have taught you commit means the changes which we have been made. So like we have engagement, okay, so it's just like a add, but marriage is like a confirmation, the main commitment we have done, right? So right now you can see that this file uh, is not yet staged. That means we have not yet add this file for the commit. Okay, after it will be commit, it will show you the status unmodified. But this is where you can use this git status to know all the file status. So now let's talk about the thing. Okay, so we have untracked and modified. So always remember that whenever you create a new file, and if you try to see the status, it will show untracked. And whenever you make any changes to the file, and if you check the status, it will show modified. Now after whether you created a new file or you have changed anything in the file, now the next process is very much important. So the very first thing you have to do is to make the things inside the staged. So stage, just understand, it's like a engagement process. Okay, so here basically it's type of a process where the file will be ready to commit. Okay, and marriage is the main process where the marriage has been done, right? So that is the commit. So that commit marriage process, you can say it like unmodified. Okay, where after you commit, it will show unchanged. Now what I mean to say, for example, let's say if I, let's say, clear it to clear the terminal. Now let's say I have these files, right? Now let's say I want to add this file for the commit. So what I can do here, I have command as well. For that, you will going to see here we have this git add. Okay, so just write like this, git add, and after this whatever file you want to add. So for example, let's say I want to add this main file. Okay, so I will just going to write the main file name, click on enter, and sorry, git add main.py file, right? And after you do this, okay, now again click on or write git status, click on enter. Now you will going to see changes to the committed. Okay, that means for this main.py file, okay, it has went to the process of committed. That means it has went to the procedure of stage, okay, where the file is ready to commit. As you can see here, ready to commit, you can see changes to be committed. But still we have this modified readme file still not happened. So again, for that also you can do the same thing. Okay, you can just write git add, and you can just write the file name, which is readme dot md, right? But the thing is that sometimes right now we only have two files, but in your case there could be lots of files. So we directly have this particular command to add all of them to the procedure of a staged. Okay, so you can simply type git add space dot. Okay, so you can write like this git. Okay, then you can write add, then you have to put space, then dot, click on enter. So all the file will now be added to the procedure of, I can say, engagement, or you can say the staged process, right? Now if you see the status again, git status, now you can see both the files are now ready to be committed, right? Now let's see how we can do that. Okay, so let's say to do this, you have this command to commit any changes. Okay, you have this particular command git commit -m. Okay, so you can just write git commit. Okay, and then you can write -m -m, and in the double brackets you can just write the message. For example, let's say we edit the main.py file, so I can just write edit main.py file. Okay, like this. Okay, and after this click on enter. Now you can see two files has been changed. Okay, and they have that means they have went for the commit. Okay, and you can see now that sign was not showing, okay, of that modified one, right? So that's how it works. Now even if you just now go to GitHub and you will refresh it, so still it will not going to display, but we have commit that in our main local repository. Okay, so we have committed that into a local repository. But if you want to push this to GitHub, okay, so as I have mentioned, we have word push. So to push any changes, okay, let's say if you want to push anything to GitHub, so you can follow this particular one, git remote add origin. Okay, like this. You can simply mention like this, paste it. Okay, git remote add origin, right, and click on enter. Now this is how it will going to look like. Okay, now the thing is that if you just go here and refresh, okay, so still you can see that the files are not showing. So instead of this, you can just copy the link again, okay, of this particular one. Now again, what you can do is that you can copy this command, okay, or you can just directly do like this, git push origin main. Okay, just copy this and paste it here, click on enter. Now if it will be, you know, sort of the first time, so it will show you to sign in to the GitHub. So let's say if I go and sign it with the browser, so I just need to authorize it, and I need to just put the password and confirm it. Authentication successful. Now if you just go here and if you do, and let's say if you refresh it, so you can see that main.py file is added. So what you can do is that you can just simply use this command to push from your local repository the projects you have in the local repository to remote repository. Okay, so that's how you know, the things work. Let me teach you again. For example, let's say if I again go ahead and let's say if I create one new file, let's say I can create, let's say, age.py file. Okay, now let's say if I okay, let's do one thing, let's right click and delete it. Let's say if I go to this main folder, and here let's say inside this folder, let's say if I add a file, let's say age.py. Now let's say if I, let's say, put here my age, let's say equals to 24. Now if I save this file, so just press Ctrl and S to save it. So here you can see this is how the things will going to look like. That means you. Okay, now if you see here git status, now you can see that there is one untracked file again, which is of age. And as I have always mentioned that whenever you create a new file, it will be always untracked. Now again, if you want to make it to the stage, okay, so just write like this, uh, git add. If there is one specific file, so just name that, otherwise you can put dot, click on enter. And now if you put git status again, now you can see this file is ready to commit it. Now to commit it, what again you can do is that you can use this particular file. Let's say git commit -1 -m, right? So git commit -m, and inside this you can just write the message. For example, edit, let's say age 5, like this. Click on enter, all done. Now you can see it's ready to add. Okay, that means it is done and committed. Now if you see a git status, you can see all of them are ready to commit. Now you can push them. So to push it again, you can just uh, use this command git push origin main, paste it, click on enter, and the things will be done for you. And now if you will again go refresh, and you can see that file has added age right now, and you can see this now. So it will now going to track each and everything. And if you see here in the history, in the version, you will see all the history you have. Okay, so you can see that first we have this initiate commit, then we have updated the readme file, then we added main.py file, and then we added the age file. So that's how easy it is. Now guys, we have done plenty of things. Okay, now what we can do is that we have here VS Code, right? So the very first thing we can do is to, I can just clear it up, and I can just go out of this Kuku courses folder. Now if you will going to notice, we have this git guide folder. Inside this we have Kuku courses, and we are right now in the Visual Studio Code. We are inside this particular folder. So we want to go back to this, or I can say to this folder of git guide. Okay, so to go one or to go outside of any folder, you can press cd, that is change directory, then dot dot, click on enter. This will take you outside of the folder. Okay, now we can create one new folder. Okay, so to create new folder, we have a command. Of course you can create it directly from here, but we have here like this mkdir, that is make directory. And let's say we can put maybe, let's say local repo. Okay, then click on enter button, and you can see a local repo folder will be created. And let's say I want to go, let's say inside this local repo. So what I can do, I can just write here cd change directory, and I can just go inside local repo, click on enter, and it will take us to the local repo folder. That means we are now inside here in the Python. And after this you can just run this command, let's say ls, to list out we have what we have. Okay, uh, that means that git is available inside this particular folder or not. So for window user you can press ls dot h, but for mac os you have to go with ls dot a. So that's the only difference. Click on ls minus h, and you can see we have nothing showing here. Okay, that means git is not active here. So to make it active, what you can do is that you can write this command git init. Okay, initialize, that means git initialize. This will help you to enable the git inside that folder. Click on enter. Now you can see git is enabled. Now to cross check it again, write ls minus h, Click on enter, and now you can see Git is now working inside this folder. Now whatever changes we will going to do, each will going to work over here. For example, let's say inside this folder, let's say I create, let me just close all these files. Okay, and now let's say I create, let's say one file, let's say uh, inside local repo, let's say uh, height, or let's say uh, fruits dot py. Okay, so let's say I create, let's say fruits I love, let's say apple, banana. Don't worry, it's about the Python. But what I did is that I created one file inside it, and if you press Ctrl and S to save it, but you can see it's showing a not that. Okay, that means untracked, because you all know that we have here the untracked. Okay, when we create new file, so it basically shows untracked. So now question arises is that how we can push it to any particular, let's say place. So for example, let's say if I run git status, you can see untracked file which is fruits.py, right? So this is the thing we have. Now what we can do is that I want to add this, right? So to add this, what we can do, again, you all remember we have here to pass git add. Okay, or you can just pass git add, this one. So just like git add, okay, space, then dash, then click on enter, and now pass git status, and you can see now it's ready to be committed. Let's do one thing. Let's commit it. Okay, but before that, okay, before we just proceed with that particular thing, okay, what we can do is that, let's say we have here this particular one, git commit, okay, which we have here, let's say minus m, okay, describe your changes. Okay, so whatever changes you want to do, you can do that. So let's say I copy this particular part, okay, and I will just go here, I will paste it up, and let's say this time I, let's say create, let's say git commit, and let's say I put, let's say fruits file added, right? Awesome, click on enter. Now you can see the thing is done, right? But before we do that, okay, it's very much important for us to see, let's see first git status, and you can see that on branch master. Okay, so here when we talk about, let's say in particular GitHub, so when we just go ahead and let's say if I go to, let's say repository, and this time let's create, another repository. I will create, let's say new repository, and this time let's say I name it, let's say uh, Kuku courses 2, okay, like this, and I will keep it to public. This time I will not going to add a readme file, otherwise this file will be created, and that file we have to, pull inside our local repository, so that I don't want to do. So I will simply click on public, click on create repository, okay, and let me just refresh it. Okay, so you can see after you will going to do this, you will see we have another command, or the same command you will going to use, so which is this one. But the thing is that this will help you to push it, right? But my dear friends, how GitHub will going to know that you have two repository, okay, in their website, and on which repository you want to go with. So this is the new repository, so I want to push the changes here. So for that I will going to use this command. You can see link to a remote repo if not cloned. So we have not cloned, like in the previous case we have cloned, but this time we have not cloned, we have directly created a local file here and we want to push this to a particular repository. So that's why I'm using this particular command. And if you will paste it here, now instead of remote URL, remove the remote URL, and whatever the URL you have for this one, so you just simply copy this URL. Okay, you can see HTTP URL, just copy it like this and go here, paste the URL and click on enter. Now the things are properly done, right? That's the best thing we have done. Now if uh, you will scroll down, okay, and by the way, if you uh, you know press git status again, now you can see nothing to commit, everything is fine. That means we have committed each and everything, right? And if you see the repository to the code, you can see we haven't got anything. Now why? Because we have not yet pushed it. Now the thing is that by default, if you go to any of the GitHub, you will see by default, if you go with any of the repository, let's say if I go to, let's say, your repository, now if you will going to notice, I will going to have two repository. So I will going to open the new one which I have created right now. Here we don't have anything, right? So, and the best thing is that in all the repository you also have to mention, okay, like if you go back in the first repository, we have this main, right? So when you use this command, okay, that you have to push to the origin main, so first you need to know that whether uh, currently this is in the main branch or not. Now what is the main branch and all, we will going to talk about that after some time. But we have this command to git branch, okay, you can just type like this. So you can just type like this, git, okay, branch, and then minus capital M and main, okay, or you can just simply type, let's say, git branch, okay. So that will also going to work. This will going to give you and tell you that right now it's master, but currently we want it to store inside the main, right? We want to store it inside the main because main is basically the place where GitHub is stored the data, but currently it's inside the master. So how we can move that? Okay, so you can see, to rename the branch we can use this git branch minus M, okay, and what name you will going to keep. So let's say I will keep it to main, click on enter, and now it's done. Now if you again write git branch, you can see now it's main. Now we are able to push, and we can now apply this git push origin one, because right now we have put and converted and rename it to main, right? So now we can use this command git push origin main like this, click on enter, and now you will going to see the things will work. And now if you go to GitHub, let's go to that one here, and now you will basically be able to see that we have fruits file inside it, okay, like this one committed. If you open this up, so you can see that results. So that's how the things work, my dear friends. So always whenever you uh, do or create any files, okay, so you have to follow these things. So I have told you with the both methods that, let's say, first you can create the repository and then you can clone that to your system, That is the first method. And second method, in this video I told you that if you have any project and if you want to push that to repository, what will be the procedure. Okay, everything will be same. You just need to first rename it. Okay, first check what is the branch, and then rename the branch to main. Then only you can apply this particular command. Then it will going to push your project to repository or any repository you want. And the thing is that whenever you create any repository, so you have to put the URL. Okay, so if you see that when we don't clone, okay, so in the first method I told you that from the repository we clone to the system. Okay, so that was the method. So there we can directly use this particular command. But in the second case, which is right now, what we did is that we haven't cloned. So we haven't cloned, so because of that we have used this particular URL, and in the notes we have written this as well, that if not clone then you have to use this one, and then you have to pass this one. But first make sure that main should be the main default branch naming. Okay, otherwise it will not work. So make sure that before you run this command, first rename the branch to main, then only run it, like we have done just right now. Okay, now let's talk about the branching and merging. Sometimes what we have is that we have, let's say, one file, right? And in our particular projects, you all know that multiple people can work in a single project. So sometimes what happens is that we have our main file. Okay, so we can consider that as a base file. So what we do is that we allow people. Okay, so there could be one team, okay, who want to add, let's say, one feature. Okay, so you can say I have written as F1, that is the feature 1. And similarly there is another team who want to add another feature, okay, that is the feature 2 to our project. And another file is the main file where our standard team are working. So we have more two teams who are working in feature 1 and 2. So what generally happen is that when we talk about branching, so we allow to create the copy for different team. So all the different team can create the copy, like from the base file they can create copy of that. Okay, 3 copies. Okay, so where the main is working exactly as it is, but another team, that is feature 1 team, has also copy one version, and feature 2 also has copied the one version of the base file. Now all of them working separately. Okay, because if we try to wait for some other, for example, let's say if the main team, okay, who is working in the project, if we start to wait for, let's say, feature 1 team to deploy the things, okay, in the project, and similarly let's say main team will going to also wait for feature 2 team to deploy the feature 2 project. Okay, so it will be time taking. So what we do, we create a sort of a base file. Okay, a point where we think that now different features can be added. So we create the copies and we send that to team, okay, let's say feature 1 team and feature 2 team, or there could be another branch we can create. Okay, so currently you can see we have created main branch. So right now in GitHub you will going to see we have basically main branch. Okay, right? So that's the thing. And wait, let's just go to the repositories. On the site. Okay, and this was that one. Okay, um, now you guys are understanding, right? So let's say this is a base file. Okay, local repo, let's say it's a base file, and let's say I know that I can share the same copy with another team and they can start to work on their tasks. So no one has to wait for each other. Okay, and after all of them complete, so at the end we basically merge all of them together. So that big to the main file, okay, to the main branch, right? And that is what branching is. So branching means create copy of the base file to add features. So maybe sometimes company also solve bugs, okay, by creating another branch. So this is how the concept works, okay. So here if you will see our lesson working with branches and merging, here you can see branching means creating a separate copy of your project to work on new features or fixes, okay, without affecting the main uh, project. And merging means combining all separate copy, okay, or branch into the main by bringing all the changes together, right? So this is something very cool. Now let's to be honest, let's do and try it practically, okay. So let's say if I go ahead and let's say if I see a git branch, click on enter, you can see right now it's main, right? And you will going to see in the, let's say, repository, we have here only as a main branch, because you all know that we have, when we want to check the current branch, so we write this to check the branch. And to rename branch, I have told you about this. And let's say if you want to create a new branch, so right now you can see we currently have only one branch. Let's say I want to create one more branch. So how I can do that? So for example, I can go and pass this command, paste. Now git checkout minus b, and whatever the name of the branch you want to add, let's say f1, that is the feature 1. Now click on enter. So a new branch has been created. And now if you again click on git branch, now you can see we have a two branch, f1 and main, right? And right now we are active in f1, okay, that means we are currently in the f1 branch. Now let's say I want to switch to another branch. Let's say I again want to go to main branch, so I will copy this one, that is switch to another branch. It will help you to navigate to another branch. So currently I'm in the f1 branch. So if I paste it here, and let's say I want to go to main branch, let's say, so git checkout main, click on enter. Now you can see we went to the main branch. And now if you click on git branch, so you can see right now you are in the main branch. So whenever it show green color or different whatever color, so it shows that currently we are active in the main branch. And let's say if I again want to switch to, let's say, f1, so I can write git checkout f1, that is feature 1, right? Sorry, I have written the wrong command. Git checkout f1, click on enter. Now you can see we switch to f1, right? Now let's say I want to create one more branch, so I will again just go and copy this command. And let's say I want one more branch, f2 branch, click on enter. Now you can see another branch we have created, that is the f2 branch, and currently we are in the f2 branch. So if you see here git branch, so you can say we have a three branch, f1, f2 and main, right? So that's how it works. And you can create as many as branch in GitHub, okay. For different teams you can create different branch. So what you are doing is that you are just copying the main file. So this currently we have this as a main file, so we are just doing copy of it. So the one copy version is went to the f1 team and f2 team, and one is the main, which is where the main team is working, which is exactly the same. So that's how you can create the copy by creating different branch, okay. And you can share, or another team can create the version of that main branch to work for their tasks. Now let's say I want to delete some branch, okay. So for delete also we have this one git branch minus d, and then you have to put the branch name. Now here let's say currently f2 branch is active, and let's say if you try to delete f2, click on enter. So it will not going to do that. It will show you error, it cannot delete, because currently uh, f2 is active. So first, if you, let's say if you want to delete f2, so first you have to switch to some other branch. So let's say if I go and let's say switch to another branch, okay. So you have to pass this git check out. Let's say I want to go to, let's say F1. Okay, now we are in F1. Now I can delete this. Okay, so I can write git branch and -d to delete it. Remember here -d to delete the branch. So let's say git branch. Okay, let's say -d and name of that branch you want to delete, F2. Click on enter. Now you can see deleted branch F2. Now if you check the branch again, so now we only have F1 and main branch, right? So that's something very great, right? Now after, basically, let's say you have done these tasks. Now what? Okay, so guys, now what we can do is that we can add something. Okay, for example, let's say right now we are in the F1. Okay, F1 branch, main branch is also same, F1 branch is also same here. But let's say right now I'm in the F1 branch, and let's say F1 team want to add, let's say, something to this file, right? So let's say F1 team will go here, and let's say they will say like add, let's say, a new feature like this, and they save it. Okay, so you can see it modified now, right? And the changes has been made in F1 because F1 is active, right? After you do this, what you now need to do is that you need to, push it, right? So to push it again, you can just write git. You all know git, and let me show you at the top, git add, right? This one, git add space dot, click on enter. So the changes has been made, and now we are in the staged, right? In the staged process. You all know, first we go to the staged, that is the add, and then we push to GitHub, right? So that is what we do, right? Now to push it, okay, you just first make the change. Okay, like this, git commit. So I will just going to write like this, git commit, and say describe the changes. So let's say I will say uh, added new feature to F1 like this. Click on enter and done, right? Now let me push it to GitHub. So to push it to, let's say, GitHub, you can just go ahead with this particular command, right? That is git push. But the thing is that if you will going to see here, right now we are not pushing it to the main file. Currently we have made the changes in the F1, not main branch. So instead of main, I will going to write here F1, click on enter and see the change. Awesome. So things are now done. And if you go and let's refresh it, now you can see just now 7 seconds ago we have F1, and now you can see we have two branches. First one is the main and second one is the F1 here. Wait, so you will going to see we are right now in the F1 branch, and if you try to open the F1 branch, so here you can see that we have added this add new feature. Okay, so that thing which we have done, okay, here new feature we added, right? This, so this is available in the F1. If you will see it, it is available in the F1 branch. Okay, but if you move it to, let's say, main, so in the main branch you will not be able to see that change, right? So that's how it works, right? So this is something very great. Now that's what I want to say. Now main team is working on the file, and let's say F1 team has added a new feature, okay, in that project. Now let's say I want to merge both of them to the main branch. Okay, so it's very simple. You can just go to the repository, go to PR. Okay, and this is what we have even shown. If you will see here, if you want to merge, okay, if you want to merge, so you just need to, on GitHub, go to GitHub, open a pull request PR. Okay, so there is a system or feature known as pull request. Full form is PR. You can see it over here, which is this one, pull request, right? So what it will help you to do is to merge the branches together. Okay, so if you, let's say, click here, let's say compare and pull request, let's refresh it. So now you can see it's saying that F1 will go merge with the main branch, which is the base one. Okay, so base is the main branch, and I want to do that. And here you can just add the title, let's say add new F to F1, okay, whatever you want to. So this screenshot will also be recorded. Okay, you can just do whatever you want. Okay, so let's say merging F1 to main branch like this. Okay, and after you do this, just simply click on create the pull request. Sometimes what happen, instead of giving the approval, we sometimes the main team basically check first, okay, before adding the anything, okay, that everything is right or not. So they review it. Okay, like PR allows code to review and manage conflict before merging, right? So we write, okay, and merge the things before we fill. So we just check it. But let's say this time I will going to create pull request, and boom, you can see no conflict with the base branch. Okay, merging can be performed automatically because there's a no difference. Okay, so if you will going to see here, we in the main everything is same, but we have just added one new file to the F1 branch. Okay, and in the main everything is same, so reason is showing here no conflict. Okay, and after this you can just add the commit message, let's say merging F1 to main branch, commit it. Okay, you can comment it. Okay, if you want to. Okay, okay, or you can directly because as I have mentioned, the developer can first review it. So if developer feels that okay, you have done some mistake and also they can just write, hey, you first have to do this or not, they can comment it. But right now there's no such issue, so we can directly merge the pull request directly. Okay, confirm merge, and awesome, and you can see the things has been done and it got merged. Now if you just go to your code and just open the main branch, so you can see the F1 changes will also be seen in the main branch, and also it will be seen in the F1 too, because from F1 only we have brought that and merged to the main branch, right? So in both of them now you can see those file together. So that's how the system works. Okay, and that's how the branching and merge things work. So in general, just understand branching means we have one base or main branch, okay, where the main team is working. But sometimes this happens that we want some expert to add one new feature, so we allow them to copy our main branch file. Okay, and there they can work separately. And similarly there could be some another support branch which may, let's say, fix the bugs and all. So we also give them the copy of the main branch, so they fix and all, and after that we merge them together to the main branch. And that's how the things work. Okay, branching means create the copy of the base file to add the feature or solve the bugs. And this is the concept that is behind the branching and merge in the GitHub. Okay, and Git allow you to work in the local computer. Meanwhile, GitHub is a company that allow you to add the changes, okay, to their website. And as in this lecture you have seen the power of it correctly. So that's how the things work, and hope you guys have got a very clear cut idea about what Git is. So now if you will see about Git, so Git is just a tool which keeps store of every change to your project. Okay, generally Git will always going to work in your local system, but after you push it to GitHub, okay, so GitHub will going to do that task. Okay, but make sure to whenever you want to activate the Git, so you have to use Git init. Okay, remember that command, right? You have to use git init, okay, to activate the git on any project, right? So be careful with that, but each and everything I believe is covered, and I try to explain you things in most simplest way, and this is all I wanted to teach you. And one more thing, along with this, if you see our website, you can go to the courses, and we have a lot of free courses. If you click on public, we have a lot of free courses as well, like AI course, build e-commerce website, elementor free course, Google Analytics, Power BI, data analytics, and much more. You can just go to next line to see all the free courses from API and all. Plenty of amazing courses we have, but along with that we also have some pro courses like AI course, okay, but these courses we provide in the membership, or you can also purchase that in a one time price as well. But the thing is that in the pricing in get membership, you will going to see we have a two membership, that is the yearly and the lifetime membership. So you can just grab the membership from here, okay. So it's very simple and easy, okay. So make sure that after you grab the membership, you can access all our amazing courses from our website. Plenty of courses, you can see the category from software, finance, digital marketing, affiliate marketing, and much more. So make sure to check uh, sorry, check them out, right? And also see the community where you can talk with the people and see the status, okay. And that's it. And we also have a free library as well, where you can grab the free library, like if you want to create affiliate SEO optimized blog articles. So we have a powerful prompt templates. You can see these are the prompt templates you can use, and how to use it. So we have put the video as well. So very powerful thing, where most of them are free, but if you want to take your skills to the next level, make sure you grab the membership if you're interested, okay. And also you can check this out as well, okay. But for now we have done each and everything regarding the GitHub, and I believe that you have learned plenty of things, okay, like what is git, okay, what is push and all, okay. History we have checked, we have taught you about the local repository, remote repository. We have also covered what GitHub is all about, okay. We have also taught you why configure git is something very much important. And along with that, we have also discussed about branching and merge, okay. So I believe that you guys have learned plenty of things, okay. So that's all I want to teach you guys, and make sure that explore my website if you want to gain lots of knowledge. Check free courses, prompt library, and whatever course you watch, make sure that you share our website with others as well, right? So that's all I want to share with you. Yes, and one more thing, that just make sure that after you have done the changes in your GitHub profile, okay, so after that you have to bring those changes in your uh, local file as well. So you can see currently this feature has been added to the F1, right? And let's say I will going to, let's say, switch to let's say the main file, git checkout, let's say main, click on enter. So you can see in main that is not visible, but in GitHub that is visible. So make sure that you follow this command, git pull origin main, same thing, click on enter, run it, and now things will be solved. So you can see automatically in the main also it's visible. And let's say even if you check it out, let's say git checkout, let's say F1, so here also that will be visible, right? So that's how you can bring it to locally as well.